When John Carpenter, who had co-written the first two Halloween films with Deborah Hill and directed the original, signed on as an executive producer in 2016, he described his intention: 38 years after the original Halloween, I'm going to help to try to make the 10th sequel the scariest of them all. He discussed his reasoning for revisiting the series for the first time since producing 1982's Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. In an interview with Rotten Tomatoes, I talked about the Halloweens for a long time, the sequels. I haven't even seen all of them. But finally it occurred to me, well, if I'm just flapping my gums here, why don't I try to make it as good as I can? So, you know, stop throwing rocks from the sidelines and get in there and try to do something positive. When the rights were acquired by Blumhouse, filmmaker Adam Wingard discussed making a new Halloween film, but ultimately dropped out after being sated by an email of encouragement from Carpenter. I kinda walked away from it like, I just got everything I wanted out of this job. This is about as good as it gets. David Gordon Green and Danny McBride were publicized on February 9, 2017 to handle screenwriting duties, with Green directing and Carpenter advising the project. Carpenter said that he was impressed with the pitch presented by the co-writers, solicited by Jason Blum, proclaiming that they get it. Rather than reboot the series again, they chose to focus primarily on continuing the mythology of the first two films when developing the story, with Danny McBride stating, "We all came to the decision that remaking something that already works isn't a good idea. So we just have a reimagining instead." The pitch was created by the writers specifically to present to Carpenter, as they were self-described fans of the original Halloween to begin with. The story was eventually fleshed out so that all of the sequels were ignored from continuity, and the ending of the first film was retconned in what McBride likened to an alternate reality. However, he later said that the film still pays tribute to the other films, despite sharing no direct continuity. You know, like there's so many different versions, and the timeline is so mixed up, we just thought it would be easier to go back to the source and continue from there. It was nicer than knowing you're working on Halloween 11, it just seemed cooler. We're making Halloween 2. For fans, we pay homage and respect to every Halloween that has been out there. Despite Green and McBride's comedy roots, Halloween was distanced from the comedy genre. McBride further elaborated that, "I think there was, like, maybe one joke on the page, but the rest is straight horror." Believing that good horror movie directors are good directors, Jason Blum hired Green for his perceived amazing storytelling. No large steps were taken without Carpenter's approval, including the acceptance of the initial pitch and bringing back actress Jamie Lee Curtis.Displeased with Rob Zombie's reimagining and added backstory of murderer Michael Myers. Carpenter wanted to take the character back to his more mysterious roots, describing him as a force of nature. He's supposed to be almost supernatural. McBride detailed his approach as humanizing the character. "I think we're just trying to take it back to what was so good about the original. It was just very simple and just achieved that level of horror that wasn't turning Michael Myers into some being that couldn't be killed. I want to be scared by something that I really think could happen. I think it's much more horrifying to be scared by someone standing in the shadows while you're taking the trash out."